Hello and welcome to another Guardians of Wiltshire video. I'm your host Dewi, and this is another Not All Those Who Wander Are Lost community interview. This week I am joined by Jorrit Vriend from the Netherlands. I hope I've got that kind of right.
You have pronounced my first name better before.
So we're going to run through kind of the questions like I've done with others. We had a bit of a chat before this about how it's going to go. So let's dive straight in with how did you get into the hobby?
It's quite a long time ago. By now I reckon it's 10 years. A very good friend of mine had some models lying around and painted every once in a while from the D'Agostini magazines back in the day.
Yep.
And we were bored in the summer one day and just opening up closets and wardrobes to find something to do. And we stumbled upon some old, horribly painted Rohan miniatures and had an afternoon's worth of fun. So the week after, we went to a local flags in the city, and I bought my first one.
Nice. What did you buy first?
Ooh, what do you guess?
I've only played. Oh, well, we know each other because we played at the very first Articon, was it? The second one.
Second one, yeah.
The second one, and it was game one, if I remember.
Yeah.
And you were using Rohan. So,
Yeah.
Was it Rohan?
Yeah, it was Rohan.
Okay, good.
No, it was still a 24 box of Warriors of Rohan.
Yep.
That was around the time they stopped producing Warriors box of 24 and shipped to the 12.
Okay.
So a lot of people will remember that period.
Yeah, I was going to say I've been doing it for 16, 17 years now. So yeah, I remember the good old days when it was a lot cheaper.
I hopped into late.
Yeah. and then from there, did you just build up kind of your Rohan playing locally, etc.?
When I got into the hobby, I was the second player in the region, as far as we knew. So we usually played together. Just at the time, 12 warriors for run against whatever mortar orcs he had lying around, or goblins, or and bought a box of Warriors of Ministerial after that, and just haggled these two around a bit until I bought my first box of Riders of Rohan, and then a captain, and then slowly
build up and
yeah. I think it will be a year before we started playing normal match play games with described point values, warbands, the proper Hobbit rules back as it was then. As he only had the old blue One Ring rulebook.
Okay.
And we just started there and had fun.
Yeah.
Slowly expanding and complaining about how certain things were not logical in our minds.
And then from then you moved into I presume more of the obviously as the scene grew in the Netherlands, you kind of got to know a few more players.
In the beginning, it was in the Netherlands. We only reformed a league, I believe, at the end of 2018.
Okay.
As there was a league when the One Ring was still a thing.
Yeah.
But that league died down in the dark years, and then afterwards, kind of a bit of a hassled revival, as we're still as to the date figuring out how to work on external tournaments in Germany, in Belgium, and France, and Articon is one of them. Or some of them even said that he went to Nova. How do we calculate it in for our league? And just getting out the small flaws and stuff like that.
Okay.
That started 2 years ago. I actually met Jeroen from the Rotterdam White Scars.
Yep.
Again, also at the second Articon, and that was kind of the beginning, really, of a conjunct league. My friend Jasper, I believe you played him at Articon with the Rangers Arms of Death combination.
Very good question. I can't remember. It might have been someone else. I don't think it was me.
Anyway, he played. One of my guys played against you. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
And he was studying in Leiden. It's not a big city,
Okay.
which had some players around, and he was just getting involved in their scene a little bit, uh, which led to us forming our own group in Utrecht.
Yeah.
And we had to hassle a lot because we were using up gaming space for local flag stores who had a priority for people playing 40k and Magic as they bought more and
Yeah.
there were more people, so more revenue.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Then there came a official GW store, and actually to jump in on the fun, we decided to claim a spot in there, and that ended up to having a group of over 30 players right now,
Oh, nice.
from people that play competitively to people just in there for the fun. And
I was going to say because I know Jerome and Tice as well have come across to, I know, Desolation of Stockport and Ardacon and some others. So kind of we've known there's been pockets of guys, especially the White Scars from Rotterdam, because that's just a name that has popped up on the GBHL YouTube channel, etc. But it's good to know that kind of all the different regions are getting involved and getting a kind of a national league, which is cool.
Yeah, the thing is, we only have, I believe, about 8 or 9, maybe even 10 official tournaments before we head up to our finale, which is already in halfway November.
Okay.
It's yeah, not as much people as are playing as in the UK.
No, there's a lot of like I'm really lucky the fact that we're in the UK, and there's lots of tournaments going on.
Yeah, but
So
that really pops up in the question that how are we gonna tackle people playing in the Belgian league and
okay,
people
yeah,
playing in the German league, people playing in the UK league. We're a bit of in the center of 3 countries with some very active communities and very active leagues, and
yeah,
a lot of guys travel regularly to tournaments in East Germany or in Belgium. Some of us, including the Rice Guards, are quite frequently found on English soil throwing dice. So.
yeah. So what's your favourite aspect of the hobby?
My favorite aspect of the hobby is I can describe it in a game I had last week with a friend of mine, and I played a former Hood Force, and he played a Range of Italian Force, and somehow we ended up on playing a Clash by Moonlight.
Oh, nice. At least you've got
And
a bit of level playing field
it was quite a level playing field, and we ended up being unable to kill one another.
there.
We were both winning fights equally, but just no kills, and we had 2 rounds of combat with 0 kills
Oh, wow.
on both sides. It, it may not work the way as it's supposed to work, but we're having fun.
Yeah.
And that's, in my opinion, the best part of the hobby is just having fun with someone, throwing some dice around, speaking stuff, talking rubbish, important subjects, and
Yeah. Kind of
just shoving models around. And
the community spirit as well. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely agree. So what's your least favourite aspect?
painting or keeping metal models painted.
Yeah. Yeah.
As some of my favorite poses or favorite models are metal, and having them chip all the bloody time is.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Mahud especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, what have I got? Mahud, fiefdoms. Yeah, it's a lot of. They can get tarnished, which is annoying. But so, how do you find the balance between making models and terrain, painting, playing? Kind of, do you have a specific thing you'd like to do more, less?
I generally don't like building a lot of terrain.
Okay.
I'm kind of a perfectionist, and if I want to do it, I want to do it good.
Yeah.
So roughly 3 years ago, I started working on a fortress, and as we speak right now, I have a frontal wall with a gate. I have a side wall with a staircase, which is roughly 8 inch, and then I have 2 towers.
Nice.
And that's how far I am. But it is. usually when I start building terrain, I take off a free Sunday or free Saturday and just start in the morning after breakfast and just hobby the entire day, building slowly,
Yeah.
but getting distracted by watching videos or listening to podcasts, and
Yeah.
find myself
It's always the
looking at
way.
model for an hour before I continue. So
Yeah, I know that feeling. I'm in the process of counting my collection, and I've done it for the last. Well, I did some last night, and I've done some today. And yeah, it's kind of. I'm like, I want to get to the end, but it's going to take me a little while. I've done that cabinet, and I've done the drawers on my desk. I've got. Oh, which one are we going? That shelf there, which is full of boxes, and then I got some cases down below that are kind of half full. So yeah, nightmare. So
I spent my free day yesterday doing the exact same thing, and I counted every single model in my collection.
yeah, I'm doing that, and it's a nightmare. A
I
nightmare.
know your feeling.
So we'll move straight on to your collection. How big was your collection if you've just counted them?
I will open the documents because I even made a document.
I was gonna say I've got
Uh,
I've got a spreadsheet with all my little poses and everything on it.
I don't have poses, but I have made differences in war gear.
Oh yeah, that's what I
Difference
mean.
between warriors of Rohan and Helmingas.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my intent as well.
Painting quality, unpainted.
I was gonna say
Uh,
I've ended up splitting mine into unfinished and painted and based because I know there's some that's in the middle, and I'm like, nope, until they're on a base and they're in my cabinet, I'm not counting them as finished.
Yeah, no, I made a nice spreadsheet for each faction, and it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
The faction with the least amount of models I have is Dunland, which I have 2 models.
Oh, nice.
Trident on foot and Trident mounted.
I was gonna say I've split mine, so for each of mine I've put like a faction linked to that specific model because I know I'll have like Aragorns on multiple different base styles. So I've like my plastic 300s one is for the Rangers, Grey Company, and Return of the King. So he's going to count for each of those, and I've got a totals column.
Yeah, I've put Aragorn in with the Rangers as it was easier.
Yeah.
And I have a total of 5 unpainted Aragorns on foot.
Oh, nice. I have no idea how many I have. No idea. So, have you got a total for me? A grand total?
1142.
Nice.
Which is 1/3 is Rohan and 1/3 is Gondor.
Oh wow. Okay
It's quite a lot.
then. Are they your favourite factions then? Would you say?
I think that my go-to faction is Rohan.
Yeah.
Having dipped my toes in Gondor over a few years, I always make the mistake of thinking that my infantry can move 10-inch,
Oh, nice.
and halfway through my movement phase, realizing that I'm moving way too much, having to switch it up. So I think that Rohan is my favorite and go-to faction, and Gondor is usually for distraction in the all mounted gameplay.
Okay, nice. So, what's the favourite miniature you own?
My favorite miniature that I own. I think it'd have to be the old 300 Aragorn with his hood on and his bow and
Oh,
quiver.
nice. The it was just called Three Hunters, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. That is a nice pose. That's one I have counted because it's in one of my drawers somewhere. I can't tell you which one. What's your most underrated model? That could be sculpt, profile, hero in general.
My most underrated model based on the sculpt is the Osgiliath veteran with a bow.
Nice.
That made it into the polls as well.
Yeah.
And on the rule base, I'm inclined to say that Osgiliath veteran was also on the rule base of a bit of underrated, and there are better alternatives. But
Yeah.
the same goes for Citadel Guard. So
Yeah.
I think it's a tough choice, but I'll go for the King's Huntsman based on the rules, as you rarely see him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think. I've ever seen him on the table in tournaments that I've been to. Not from
No,
memory.
it doesn't bring anything unique to the Roman army list.
No, I
Yeah,
think he'll be
it's on 3
useful.
Vogue.
I think he'll be useful in Helm Hammerhand's Legion.
I actually tried it last week when I played with
Yeah.
Hamham and Legion, and he got eaten by a fell beast on the first turn.
Oh, nice. So, are there any models that you wish would come back for a made to order, or or come back into the general range?
I have 3. One is Aemon out of Pelennor,
Yep.
which is one of 3 Roman models that I do not currently own.
Okay.
The other one is Gambling Foot Mounted without Banner, which is coming sometime in the near future.
I was going to say that was on the made to order that was cancelled.
And Drone Girl, Aragorn in his younger years.
Yes.
As I've seen the model that Cap Spectre has, and
yeah, it looks
nice.
Amazing. I was looking through the unofficial guide that someone put on the One Ring, and it's in there, and it's just it looks so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever see that, to be honest. That'll be one of the with the made to order and then bringing back Halbrand with Banner and whatnot. You never know, but
exactly. It might we might see some kind of Tarongo miniature if the Amazon series is any good and mix it up to that point.
Yeah, quite possibly. Quite possibly.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, exactly. We will just have to wait. So, moving on to the gaming side of things, do you play any other systems other than SPG?
No.
No?
I did buy a box of American Rifleman for Bolt Action, but that was over 2 years ago, and as of today, they're still in a box somewhere.
Nice. I was going to say, I've said this before, that I don't play any other systems. I've got enough models to keep me going for God knows how many years. So
exactly.
Playing SPG, do you play competitively or for fun?
When I'm at Articon, I usually tend to play a bit more competitive, as playing competitively in the Netherlands usually ends me up playing against the same 3 to 4 players. One of them is Jeroen, and Jeroen and I have played 3 times, and we have played three times ended in a draw.
Oh, nice.
And that's a bit of the most skill gap in the Netherlands, which is relatively low compared to other countries.
Okay.
So when I'm playing in a tournament in the Netherlands, I usually grab a fun list, having fun, end up somewhere in the middle, and usually go for most favorite army votes and
nice.
Most, what's it called in English?
Like most sporting.
Yeah, most sporting.
Yeah.
That's usually my target to go. But when I'm at Articon, or I had plans to go to Desolation of Seven Stones this year.
Oh, nice.
And that was a bit of having a bit of a go at a more competitive play, but just for the experience.
Yeah, nice. So, when you choose an army, do you choose an army based on the miniatures or the rules?
Ooh, tough question. I think I will have to go with choosing on the miniatures.
Nice. Because I know when we played in Ardacon, this was before the new edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You had Theodred, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Which obviously wasn't seen, well, still isn't seen that much nowadays, but wasn't seen, I didn't think I'd ever seen him on the table before. Which was really cool to see, because you had Theodred, Aemir, and Erkenbrand, maybe?
No, I don't remember. I believe it was just a captain.
Oh, yes. No, it was. It was a captain.
Yeah, it was captain, because you killed the captain with your cave troll.
Yes. That cave troll killed a lot in that game. Um,
The 6 guys that died, yeah.
yeah. So is that what drew you to Rohan in the first place? Kind of the look of them and
Now what drew me in the first place was the scene where Gandalf just said, "Here's the sun," and they were running down a mountain.
yeah,
When watching as a kid in a movie, played a lot of Battlefield Middle Earth 1 and 2. Um,
good
didn't
games.
play 2 quite
Really,
a lot because
really good
Rohan wasn't a
games.
faction, so
Yes. Yeah.
kind of stepped out until some modders came in and made some mods like Age of the Ring and
Yeah.
Edain.
I was gonna say I plan to
Uh,
download Age of the Ring because I downloaded Battlefield Middle Earth 2 and the expansion literally last week.
nice. Yeah, I lost my CD a long time ago, and so I made a very legal digital copy of the CD so I can still play it.
Okay.
Um, During the move to my new apartment, my hard drive got shaken and
Oh no.
some files were lost, including the physical digital copy of the CD. So I'm gonna have to find a way
To
to
find the game
reinstall
again.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is quite a hard task.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
Nice.
So kind of looking at the because I want to know more about the Dutch scene and kind of
Hmm.
the meta over with you. What kind of factions do you see near the top tables frequently?
Funny enough, that's a dragon with fly, breathe fire, Durburs, a goblin shaman, and a whole lot of more goblins with shields,
Oh,
and
really?
half them with spear and shields, which actually won the RGT last year,
Okay.
uh, or no, 2 years ago. Um, with the only exception that Smaug was not immune to fire.
Okay.
We see Smaug a lot if Thijs plays it.
Okay. Yeah, because he's
Um,
done a Lake Town base.
yeah,
Yeah.
the one with all the clear resin on it, and the
Yeah.
fish, and the little scene with Bart's kids and the master. Uh, Jeroen plays quite a lot with his Lake Town militia, with
Yeah.
Bard, Gandalf. We see Rohan quite a lot, especially Riders of Theoden.
Yeah.
I guess that will be universal.
Yeah.
Um, we have a player who is annoyingly competent with a Last Alliance army with Elendil and Elrond.
Oh wow, nice.
Um, which is annoyingly to say I have to play him at least once a tournament. We see High Elves with Elrond and Círdan and Elrond, but that was before the Círdan nerf.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised to see if that list changes or if it changes at all, and how it changes. Uh, Combinations like Iron Hills and Halls of Thunderbolt are
Yeah.
common. Angmar is quite common. Corsairs were the last new army that we've seen pop up on the top tables.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
I've played with them a couple of times more recently, and yeah, the amount of ranged firepower you can get is insane.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's really good.
And then the usual, that was more a it was German player was Pascal,
Yep.
who brought a Mordor Angmar army with the Witch King and another Nazgul, some Morans, and a few Black Numenorians.
Okay.
But that I reckon that's about it.
Nice. So quite a range of armies then.
Yeah, mostly good armies.
Yeah, like I know myself, we've tended to see more good armies than evil on the top tables.
Are you
Um,
trying to become a spirit, Davey?
no, it was just
You
getting
were
dark.
very right.
Yeah, it was getting dark. Let's move that. Oh, there we are. Yeah, so yeah, we've seen far more good armies than evil on the top tables. I don't know. Well, the good heroes just seem to be a bit stronger, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
More access to heroic strike. So I don't know.
Yeah, generally higher fights, better synergy between the armies, between the models.
Yeah, definitely a lot more alliances as well.
Yeah.
Um,
One exception is the Dwarves Khazad-dûm, which I've reminded me of last week.
okay, yeah,
They have green alliances.
yeah, they have none. They have none. It's them and Fangorn, I think, that don't have any green ones in the good list. In the
I
good
believe so.
list.
Yeah.
So, do you think there's any overpowered individual models? I'm talking like within a pure faction, um, that you see across the table and you go, oh, I wish it didn't have this, or
Yeah. It's gotta be either Azog or Bolg, or maybe even both.
okay,
Um, I usually don't have a fun game when I play against uh, those because, in my opinion, every hero has a bit of his play
yeah,
style, and a certain role he needs to function. As Eomer is just a beatstick who needs to kill
yeah,
infantry and heroes. But he's generally better speaking killing off infantry because of his native fight 5.
yep,
And Theoden is more of a support hero. You want him in combat because he's nice and fight 5, but also you want to keep him alive and in the center of the line for the fight value bonus.
yeah,
And then you have just Azog, with kill everything on 4s, I believe. And
yeah.
native fight 7, 6 might.
I was going to say you see Azug a little in the UK scene, not masses from memory, but it has been 3 months. No, 4 months since tournaments. Um, so yeah, you see him a little bit, but a lot of the tournaments in the UK tend to be between 500 and 700, and he gets bogged down a little bit.
I believe that the Gunnibud army list really comes into effect at about 800 to 1,000 points, as you can get both heroes as a combo, a lot of trolls,
Yeah,
and keep a lot of berserkers and infantry, and otherwise you have to make a decision.
yeah. I've tried building lists at lower points, and it's a nightmare. Trying to just figure out who goes where is just not fun.
Yeah, I can reckon.
So, what are your favourite points levels, and what are kind of the normal points levels over in the Netherlands?
In the Netherlands, it's between the 500, 600, and 750 mark
Okay,
of points where we play a lot. Uh, that used to be it used to be either 500 or 750 for the most of the scenes, but then Articon changed this year to 600,
yeah,
and since then you've seen some tournaments who slowed down a bit and said, no, we're going to play 600.
okay,
And it might have been a bit of an unwanted side effect, as uh, points limits here for a lot of tournaments are usually in synergy with major tournaments in neighboring countries like Articon, like the Belgium GT,
okay.
uh,
To give,
stuff like that.
I presume, to give you guys practice for when you travel.
Yeah,
Because how far are the Belgium GT like drive? Because if I remember correctly, you drove to Ardicon,
yeah. It
which
was 2 days.
yeah, which for for British people seems a little crazy, but I know
Um,
I've got family out in the Netherlands and they drive everywhere and they go to Italy and Germany, and so for you guys it's not too different.
uh, we can. It will take from here, from my city Utrecht to Paris, the capital of France.
Yeah.
It is a roughly 4.5 hour drive without traffic.
Okay. That's
And from
like
London to Manchester, it takes us 6 hours
yeah
with
I was
traffic. So
yeah I was gonna say for me from here to Manchester is 4 hours.
it's roughly the same amount of time traveled, which is why we usually take cars driving to either tournaments in Belgium, because it will be 3 hours max,
Yeah.
usually even less, 2.5. In Germany, it will be roughly the same if it's on the West Germany side.
Okay.
and things like East Germany we usually don't go, or
Okay.
it's we have some crazy fanatics out there that will go there, stay a weekend, and just make it a mini vacation, but
Yeah.
exception to the rule.
Yeah, always. So kind of at the tournaments that you go to in the Netherlands and surrounding countries, what are the awards generally given out? Is it still kind of first, second, third, and then wooden spoon as we call it, which is last? Um, and then you have like your favorite games and your most sporting and your favorite armies, that kind of thing. Is it a similar?
Yeah, uh, most best painted army is one of the comes up quite a lot. We tend to honor the most sporting prize roughly on the same level as as ending up first.
Okay, yeah.
Which is why we see a lot of people that um, become first, second, or third are usually ones that are relatively high on the most favorite game votes.
Oh, nice.
Um, I remember playing a doubles last year in Rotterdam, where we ended up being third, or maybe fourth, because we played a draw against the ones in first. We won second and first team. We played against had a draw in the last game, but we gave each other our favorite game votes, and that made us being the most sporting. But ended up fourth place because just someone sneaked in
Oh
from
no.
sixth and ended up first because they had a 12-0 victory. And that's a bit how it goes. And the guys in second in most sporting votes were the guys we played in the finals. So it's a bit of people tend
Okay.
to prefer playing fair.
Yeah, and more themed and fun and that kind of thing.
More like a hobbit with a beer, a drink.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you prefer good v evil, or do you not mind it blue on blue?
Good versus evil. I believe the game is in a better balance. It's the game is balanced for itself for blue and blue, but I have a feeling that in good versus evil, a lot more models make sense in profile wise.
Yeah,
Models with, for example, the fiefdom troops. All of them, not all of them, except for the real archers,
yeah,
are quite for. I have a feeling that playing against an evil army will give them an advantage, while playing against a good army will be just like everyone else.
yeah, yeah. As someone who plays fiefdoms, I know that enough. Um, so kind of, do you? Another thing is, do you play scenarios?
Yes.
Because that's where I think a lot of profiles are formed with the specific scenario in mind, or at least a group of scenarios.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from.
Because have you played any scenarios recently?
Um, Today I played the White Rider and Farmer's Charge scenarios from the Gondor War campaign, which I'm
Oh,
playing with a friend of mine.
nice.
And there you see that certain models are formed for a what you see models are formed for a scenario. But I believe that all of them profiles are formed for a scenario, or all profiles from the scenarios pre Middle Earth era, so from the Hobbit period or
Yeah,
the Blue period before even.
yeah. I think definitely some of the newer heroes. You look at them, and then you look at the scenarios, and you look at kind of the special rules, especially and when it comes to legendary legions as well. Kind of the rules for the legendary legions will quite often appear in scenarios, um,
Yeah.
which is, I think is really cool and takes something that from a scenario narrative play over to the more competitive side of things.
Now you mentioned, I do remember that Helm Hammerhand is uh, a really solid hero, but he's only worth his point value if you take him in the Legion.
Yes.
Which is a bit of you make a profile for a hero which is highly anticipated, and you basically make him less useful if you don't take the Legion. I kind of like it because it forces you into a more thematic approach of building your army lists to make the most out of certain models.
Yes. No, I definitely think for Helmhammerhand, I think that was probably the only way they could have gone because obviously you don't hear of anything else in the similar timeline because you've just got like the old kings of Gondor, etc. You don't hear of Rohan getting any alliances at that point, really, not from memory. But yeah, I think his Legion is cool and it is solid, especially at slightly lower points.
As soon as you have a second enemy hero, which is a really combative hero, you see you on a back foot really fast.
So I know here in the UK our lockdown restrictions are easing. Whether they'll stay eased or whether we'll go into a second lockdown is another question. But I don't quite know what it's like over in mainland Europe. But are there any events you're hoping to attend later in the year?
Yeah, I kind of do. Well, since at the earliest of May, um, we were coming out of our intelligent lockdown, as
Yep.
it's called by the government, and we kind of, as a team, decided that we were not going to Article, no matter how situation developed.
Yep.
As a lot of people lost their jobs, including in the team, and people having to switch job mid game, losing
Oh.
savings.
Yeah.
They made for Article. And because we like a lot of guys take the week we go to England as a mini vacation during periods where they usually have quite a busy work schedule.
Yeah.
So we decided to just take the weekend off. A friend of us lives in the outback. Well, outback, we call it a polder, but it's a bit of farmland.
Oh, nice.
It's quite a far distance from the city, so we can stay in relative peace. We decided, hey, we're going to jack your barn, have a mini tournament for 2 days, get
nice.
wasted and sleep in a tent, and go back Sunday evening, still hungover, still don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So we can go back to work on Monday
that's
instead of having to drive on Monday morning. So
I was gonna say that sounds like a really good change to Ardicon. I know since you made that decision, James has essentially cancelled it. He's going to try, I think, get a mini tournament going if there's interest. But I know we as Team Wales, we kind of made the decision that we probably weren't going to go before he made the announcement. I know two of the guys were definitely set on not going. Like I say, we've got it a couple of weeks after you guys, so we're not quite sure what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks. You mentioned Seven Stones. Were you booked to come over?
When I made the commitment to come to Seven Stones, it was kind of because Damien posted in the GBHL about the tickets for sale, and I was I was in Peru at the time, and I was just waiting for my roommate to wake up, so I was messing around on Facebook. And Johnny, and I got going, and suddenly he was like, "Yeah, well, why not? We're going."
Nice, because I think it's rescheduled for September.
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah.
And relatively soon after we made the agreement to come, I started to get messages from work, even though I was on vacation, saying, "Hey, we're in a bit of a pickle due to we are out of orders." I used to work in the event industry.
Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised. That's all over the globe, but it almost completely collapsed.
Yeah.
For a big part, and that was like the signs about giving. Okay, so I'm gonna be out of a job when I get back, and it's like, well, I have enough savings, so I can do it. And then my girlfriend texted me that we're very close to getting an apartment. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a haggle. Go to Seven Stones, have a good weekend, but having a fight with my girlfriend over the fact that I was in England spending money instead of saving for a new place, or moving in with my girlfriend in a new apartment. I'm like,
yeah, life.
I think I'll have to spend a lot of nights with my girlfriend in the same room, so I'm gonna make the safe decision.
Because have you ever come across for any of the GTs or Throne of Skulls or anything?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's on my to-do list, and I was kind of aiming for Seven Stones this year, maybe even GT later in the year or Throne of Skulls.
Yeah.
But since I'm out of work, And due to Corona, I might just save it up for next year.
Yeah, I was going to say, safe is the best option. Don't. I was going to say, it's only toy soldiers at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll move on a bit more. You've spoken a bit about your community and the wider Netherlands community. Which player or army do you struggle to play against? Who have you got kind of a losing record against when you tried to go a bit competitive?
Uh, not really a losing streak. Last time I managed to make it a slight victory or a draw, but I believe it was just a one victory point win at the end. But I was playing against Stefan from the White Scars,
Okay,
and
yeah.
he's playing Thunderbolt's Halls for quite some years, and he's quite adequate, as to speak. Um, Knowing very well when to use a Nature's Wrath on all my horses,
Yeah.
when not to charge, and when to stay back and shooting, and we kind of have this nice challenge where he knows that I'll struggle against him, but he still opens up his army and just generally gives tips on how his army works,
Yeah.
which I quite enjoy and also makes the game quite a lot of fun.
Yeah,
But as
nice.
I said, not really winning yet.
So who would you say is the best player you've ever played against?
That will be Mr. Light from Nottingham, Nigel Light.
Ah, yeah, nice.
I played him Articon last year, and I have to say he brought a really cheesy list.
Yeah, I
It
was
was
gonna say
not a quite.
I've done one of these with him, and yeah, his list building and his whole mantra on how he plays the game at least is really interesting.
Yeah, it was the only game I managed to finish within the time period, as we were done in an hour or so,
Oh, nice.
and I got completely disabled. But I learned a lot from the game, and Matt itself is a nice player to hang around and have a beer with afterwards.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
as you mentioned, he plays the game in a different methods than playing. And in our local community, we have a player with the same intentions, but not on the same level as Magic,
Okay.
and I kind of hope he stays that way because
I was gonna say, I think me and Matt have played once, and I lost track of time, so that lost me the game. But yeah, no, really interesting. I've had a lot of good conversations with Matt as well. Um, so, so have you got a favourite game in mind that you've ever played?
yes, it was yeah, okay. So that's a hobby of mine is to play together a group of friends from the community and just play a bit of over the top game
Okay.
and use point values more commonly see in War of the Ring than
Okay.
in Ink. So last summer, before I went to Articon, I played with three friends. We played a 4,000 points Battle of Gondor
Oh
versus
wow.
Mordor, Harats, Eastlings, whatever the fuck we could find, and
Oh
um,
jeez.
just spent 2 days shoving models, laughing. Um, Ended up having Faramir lose a combat to a prone orc for 6 turns in a row
Oh wow.
while being on the horse with Lance charging. Um, and having the trebuchet being the first volley of the game, knocking down 12 Morgul knights, killing 6 and horsing the other 6. It's,
Oh jeez.
stuff like that stays in my mind a bit more. So I'm gonna have to say that has been my favorite game up to date.
Oh good. Uh, do you have a favourite tournament, or do they all offer something different?
I think they all offer something different. Articon is for me usually a weekend off in a very busy season.
Yeah.
So I ended up being wasted every night and not being able to communicate properly during my last game. Uh, so I tend to take that more as a stress relief and a bit of a vacation. The Dutch GT is where I try to play really competitively. and being more serious about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of tournaments just go to have fun, shove models, scream about 6 times I'm going to use that, don't do it, and then do it in a tournament doesn't matter. So I think most of the tournaments I've been to or I go to are different in the way they approach the way of playing the game.
Yeah. I was going to say, because I know in the UK we have what we call 80 and 100 point tournaments. So
Mm-hmm.
the 80 points only count. You only get a maximum of 80 points towards the league, and the hundreds is obviously 100. And the hundreds are more competitive. And the 80 points, you see some crazy armies that people have thrown together just for the hell of it. So yeah, I know what you mean. Where kind of some tournaments you go, right, I'm going to take a fun list and see how it does.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever played against an army made consistently out of gambling on foot with the royal banner? And I believe it was 21 King's Huntsmen?
wow. No, I have not.
22?
That's
You don't
crazy.
want to.
That's crazy. How many
You
points
really
is
don't
that?
want to play that game.
Is that like 100,000 points? Or
I
just
believe it was.
yeah?
And I managed to get 2 riders into combat.
Oh god, yeah. Especially if you're Rohan. Oh, all your horses are gone.
All your horses and riders are gone. Oh, I need a 6 and roll a 5. Oh, my point.
Yeah, that's just
Oh, I'm gonna call an
insane.
heroic accuracy. All of them are in range. Bye bye.
Yeah, that's just insane.
My opponent. It was luckily not in a tournament. It was just a fun game with someone from the community, and he just came up with 2 beers in hand. Here, you need this.
That's really, really good. That's really funny. Oh dear. Well, I don't have any more questions for you. So thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome.
If you've enjoyed this video, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you soon.